What up, y'all? It's the homie Dame. And it's that time again. We're talking about some hot takes. I asked all of y'all to send your spiciest, hottest takes on anime, manga, and life in general. And now I'm gonna read some of those takes and make fun of your horribly embarrassing opinions. Even though I'm a nobody and my opinions are worth less than a dookie stain on the toilet bowl. But yeah, let's get into it. LeBron should get an anime adaptation to show how glorious he is. I agree, give him the full treatment. I'm talking produced by Studio Mappa, anime opening by Kanabun, have him voice acted by Kenjiro Suda. My king deserves all of it. Things are too over-explained in anime because it's adapted from the manga format. I feel like some anime should cut more of these lines and try to visually show how a character is feeling rather than spelling it out by a character stating what just happened. True, and that's why I love anime originals. They don't have manga source material that they're adapting, so they can format things more traditionally, like how maybe Hollywood would adapt it. Not that Hollywood isn't guilty of telling instead of showing, let's not get it twisted. But yeah, I agree, have some faith in your audience. You don't need to explain every little thing. Even a dumb fuck like me can understand what's going on once in a while. A lot of recent romance anime feel gimmicky, almost like a lot of the seasonal isekai slap. I mean, this is true, but it's not a new thing. If you think about it, almost every romance story, anime or otherwise, has some gimmick to it. That's just the nature of the genre. Like, no one is trying to watch boy meets girl, oh, they're attracted to each other, cool, they start dating, and then they get married after they graduate. Because, you know, that's just real life. In the same way, you're not gonna have Naruto just sitting around the Hidden Leaf Village eating ramen for 700 episodes. Something has to happen. And in romance anime, that's usually the gimmick. But it also is true that there is a slice of life element to a lot of romance where sometimes it is just, oh yeah, here are two people who are attracted to each other and this is them doing cute things. And then we do it over and over and nothing happens for 3 seasons. That's completely fine too. I don't mind that. I don't mind gimmicks. I don't mind hanging around slice of life doing nothing. Oh, here comes the grocery store arc. I don't really care as long as it's good. As much as I dislike the Oscars Academy because of the existence of Oscar bait, it very much is necessary when you look at the alternative of fan voting. Look at something like the Crunchyroll Awards. You have shows like Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer in conversations where they don't belong in because of their popularity. Imagine if Spider-Man Homecoming and Avengers Endgame won the Oscar over Get Out and Parasite respectively. I agree and disagree. And there is a reply here. Sounds like you're just some pretentious elitist who dislikes anything popular, lol. I don't think it's that deep. There definitely is a large group of people in multiple mediums who are like, X thing is popular, therefore it's overrated and gets more attention when Y thing deserves it instead. And I will say it is a known thing that Oscars will favor Oscar bait movies for Best Picture. Like if your movie has to do with, let's say the struggles of Hollywood, you know, they love talking about themselves. Or if it deals with some deep pressing issue like Spotlight. If you do these things, the Academy will favor you. Hence the term Oscar bait. But that's not necessarily a popular thing because like this commentator said, you're never gonna see a movie like Avengers Endgame win Best Picture. So in a way, that's actually different from the Crunchyroll Awards because something like Demon Slayer, which is like the endgame equivalent for anime, can win Anime of the Year. And honestly, what's so bad about that? If Spider-Man Homecoming won Best Picture over Parasite, I would not give 2 fucks. And the fact that something like JJK can win Anime of the Year over something like Monogatari Off-Season, like, okay, fine, who cares? But I don't think it's elitist to want to see some other shows and movies get recognition. Because while you can argue that those Oscar bait movies are less popular than the popcorn blockbusters, I still think that they aren't necessarily the best choice for Best Picture. We could talk all day about how non-mainstream and unexpected Parasite was, but something like Hereditary was just as good of a movie in my opinion. And you will never in a million years see a horror movie like that win Best Picture, even though I think it deserves it. And on the flip side, I think that a mainstream blockbuster like Avengers Endgame does deserve Best Picture. Why not? Now imagine if an Academy existed for anime awards like this commentator said. What kind of agendas would they have for picking Anime of the Year? I'd imagine a lot of shows like Yatagaratsu or Apothecary Diaries would be winning Anime of the Year. They highlight different Asian cultures and have that anime equivalent of Oscar bait feel to them. And now if you're an elitist, you could say, yeah, those shows do deserve it more than JJK. But even in this hypothetical world with this hypothetical anime academy, I don't think a show like Makeine could win, which was my Anime of the Year for 2024. So even in a world where we have pretentious elitists picking Oscar bait titles like Yatagaratsu or Moonlight, I still think you would have the problem of not necessarily picking out the real winner, quote unquote, a million quotes around the word real. You know what I mean? Like the Hereditaries or the Makeines of the world still wouldn't get recognition. But honestly, none of it matters because who cares about award shows anyway? You don't need them to tell you what's good and what's not good. Just like whatever you like. Any anime or piece of media will come out a lot more creative if it has restraints, in which I mean baseless creative freedom leads to creatively defunct plots most of the time, leading into a wall that seems to be always reached. Honest reason why I don't like fantasy mostly. For instance, it's a restraint being a high school slice of life anime, and building upon that restraint makes honestly for the most creative stories of its own due to the pathing and how you have to articulate a story within. Okay, all right, we get it. They use Monogatari as an example. We get it. And yeah, in some cases that's true. Bringing in another film example, I love movies where there's like a single set and the whole movie basically takes place there and it's just like carried by the acting. Like Marriage Story, where it's just Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson arguing in a room the whole time. Or Cube, where the whole movie takes place in a cube and it's just people trying to escape. Or Circle, where the whole movie is just 50 people standing in a circle and they're arguing over who should be killed by aliens or something. Those are very constrained films that don't have 90 different filming locations and all these CGI effects and these insane scripts. It's just very simple, and because of that constraint you have to be creative to make the film interesting, and you also have to rely on actor performances to carry the film. But I also disagree with this post because we need innovation, right? And I know that this commenter's whole argument is that innovation comes from constraint, but I don't think that's always the case. If y'all watch this channel, you know that I hate the concept of genres in general because fitting something in a genre like horror or action or romance is way too limiting and forces you to think along the lines of predetermined cliches and tropes. And sure, innovation can come from working within those limitations, but I think we would be surprised at the new shit people could come up with if they weren't stuck thinking, oh, how could I make a battle shonen but with a twist? Rent a Girlfriend has better animation and emotion than most anime out there. This is true. This is very true. The price of Budweiser is disproportionate to its quality. I would opt for a greater volume of Monster energy drinks instead. I don't drink Budweiser, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've had a single can of Budweiser beer since college. My beer of choice is Guinness or Sapporo, but I don't really drink beer like that anyway. Y'all know me, I'm a whiskey guy. I don't drink Monster either, actually. I've been trying to cut caffeine out of my diet completely. I was a big coffee and tea drinker, and I don't know. I feel like I'd be better off not having to rely on stuff like that to get through the day. Overwatch 2 is a better game than Marvel Rivals, and people will see that a year from now when the hype has died down. Ooh. I actually agree. But let me say this before anything else, I think both Overwatch and Marvel Rivals are terrible, terrible games. I can confidently say here on camera that Overwatch is the worst game I have ever played in my life. Not because it's poorly made, it's actually a super high quality game, good gameplay, very polished, good characters, all that. But I play games for entertainment. Video games to me are just another medium like anime or music or movies where I can entertain myself. And never once during the almost 10 years I've played Overwatch did I have even a single second of fun. And Marvel Rivals is almost as bad. I started playing a little bit before season 1.5, and again, I have not had a single second of fun playing the game. That's why I don't really play competitive games like this, because I don't play games to compete. If I wanted to compete, I'd go play a sport or something. Because I'm a competitive dude, I'm gonna try hard. And I just don't want that experience when I'm playing video games, because like I said, it's a medium of entertainment for me. Video games are just another way to experience art. It's not a competition in my eyes. So when I play competitive games like Overwatch or Rivals, it's never fun because I'm sweating like a motherfucker. The only reason I play these games is out of some sick masochistic sense of pride. Like I just can't let these games beat me. And mind you, I suck at both games. I was never higher than Diamond in Overwatch, and right now in Marvel Rivals, I'm Grandmaster, which is basically like Diamond or Plat in Overwatch. But yeah, going back to the original point, I agree that Overwatch is better. The maps in Marvel Rivals are dog shit, the ranked system is dog shit, and it's missing a lot of the polish and small quality of life stuff that Overwatch has. And I don't care about the characters either. That's usually the point that people bring up. It's like, oh, Marvel Rivals is great because it's Marvel. It's a known property. Everyone knows these characters. But that's actually a negative for me because I don't give a fuck about superheroes. I don't like Marvel. I don't read comic books anymore. I don't like any of it. And don't get me wrong, I don't care a single bit about Overwatch lore either. But at this point, I care more about Kiriko than I do Invisible Woman. So yeah, I agree. I think Overwatch is better. They both suck. They're both terrible games, but Overwatch is better in my opinion. I don't think it's as extreme as saying Marvel Rivals will be dead a year from now though, let's be honest, it's still gonna be as popular as ever, and you know, it's not like people will be crawling back to Overwatch, but once the glitter has faded away, I think people will see that they're both basically the same thing, and it's just a matter of taste to which one you want to play. Anime is suffering from creative inbreeding. It only takes influence from itself. Romance anime borrows from romance anime, battle shonen from battle shonen, isekai from isekai, and so on. Sure, there are exceptions, but anime has gotten stale. This applies to every medium of creativity, not just anime. Like, how often do we see actual innovation in music, for example? You could say that we've had new genres develop, like trap was new, but I mean, that's just an extension of hip-hop, right? It's clear where everyone is borrowing their influences from. And actually, this relates to the take earlier that the person who said creativity can come from limitation. If you look at it in this context, that's definitely true. Like romance anime borrowing from romance anime. So these two takes would be at odds, with this person saying that those limitations make anime stale, while the other says it leads to creativity. And y'all know me, I'ma say that there are arguments for both sides. Nothing is 100% objective when you talk about things like this. That's, you know, unfortunately the real boring answer. But if you're asking me personally, I'd prefer something completely new, something completely outside the bounds of genre and the cliches that come with it. But I'm not naive, right? I know that's almost impossible to do, because like I said, everything takes inspiration from something else. We see it in movies, music, video games, whatever. But it's just almost impossible. It's not 100% impossible. We don't know what insane geniuses are gonna come out in the future to create some totally new shit that'll blow all of our minds. The only thing we can do is just be the type of society that fosters that kind of creativity. Kishimoto got lucky when writing Naruto, plus having his editors. He was never a good writer/author. Uh-oh, now that's a hot take. And for the record, this person doesn't explain themselves in the comments, unless they deleted it or something. All I see is them getting kind of cooked. Well, y'all already know I hate Naruto, and so any opportunity to slander it is welcome. But I'm gonna be real, I don't really know much of whatever situation this person is talking about, because it seems like they're implying that Naruto was created more through editing rather than by Kishimoto himself. I don't know if any of that is true, I'm not gonna lie. I hate Naruto, but I'm not gonna insult Kishimoto over shit that's untrue, so I don't know. Regardless of how I feel about this series, Kishimoto is a legend in the industry. You know who actually got lucky though? George Lucas. That man lucked into creating the biggest pop culture franchise of all time. If y'all could see scenes from the original cut of Star Wars, that movie looked like absolute dog shit. The Star Wars that we know was actually created in editing and through the efforts of hundreds and hundreds of talented individuals working on the project. The most famous and critically acclaimed Star Wars movie, The Empire Strikes Back, was good because of Irving Kershner, with George Lucas barely doing anything. And when you see the movies that George Lucas actually did have full creative control over, they're the most terrible, embarrassing ones. So yeah, I don't know if any of that is true about Kishimoto, so I'm gonna leave it to y'all in the comments to debate that. Zion Williamson will be a Chicago Bull next season. Hey, if Zion comes to play for Chicago, I might just become a whole new man. I'm gonna come on this channel full of positivity. I might just make a video glazing JoJo's. Y'all are gonna see reacting to Steel Ball Run for the first time on here or something. I feel like Zion wants to be in Chicago too. I don't even care if we're good or not, cause you know his ass be injured all the time, but just having someone like Zion in a big market like Chicago would be so good. And you know he's gonna attract free agents to come sign with us. Either him or Giannis would be dope, because I know he's been saying he wanna come here too. Giannis and Kobe White just might be the new Shaq and Kobe. You heard it here first. Timestamp it. The World Cup being held in America next year is nothing short of a tragedy. The pitches are awful, the weather's too unpredictable, the atmosphere might be worse, and the place is unstable. Oh shit, I don't know nothing about that. That is not my bag. Damn, they got that many cities hosting? I mean, you don't have to worry about weather in places like LA and Miami and all that, or even San Francisco. I don't know about the pitches though. I don't even know what makes a good one or what makes a bad one. I can't imagine the atmosphere being worse though. American sports crowds are terrible these days. It's just a bunch of corny ass rich people and TikTokers in the stands. I remember my eyes being opened when I watched European basketball games. Now, those are actually some real sports crowds. Even the Super Bowl crowd don't hit the same no more. I don't know. If you can understand something, why can't you overstand it? if you can understand something, why can't you overstand it? Is that like from something?